Hello. Okay, so the first book that I want to talk about is influential to me because it was like a favorite book of mine, like a favorite series of mine when I was like a little kid. Um, and maybe you guys are familiar with it. It's influential for me because I just really enjoyed it to the point where it was, like one of those books that like kept inspiring me to read, to be a reader. So like these early books that you latch onto that you loved, they inspired you to keep going. They inspired you to be the reader. Maybe late bloomers can't like quite understand that one, which is fine. Late blooming is perfectly fine for anything, but especially reading. Read what you want and read what you love at whatever walk of life that you're in. My love of reading was an early one, and so like one of my favorite book series when I was a kid, one of them, but one of them was Bunnicula. I loved Bunnicula. It was so cute. It was so cute, guys. I loved it. I think I reread this book like several times as a child. Like I think I had two of the books in like my bookshelf when I was like a little kid, and then and I reread them a lot, and then I remember reading the other ones and rereading them in my like school library. I kind of remember school library I remember the book more than I remember where I was sitting, but I kind of remember the kind of like tables and chairs from my old school library. I went to several schools as a child, so I kind of remember the one that I went to in third grade. But I do remember that one being like, oh, they have these here, and then rereading them. So I know I read it before then. The thing with that school's library, and the reason I was rereading like books that were well below my reading level was because they had a kids section on one wall, and then the next wall was like older books, like the fifth grade, I think, that they were allowed to go over there and get books. But if you were underneath fourth and fifth grade, you weren't allowed to go touch those books. You couldn't touch them. They would not let you, and it was the bane of my existence because everything was below my reading level on the wall that I was allowed to go to. And then like the fourth grade area, like it was most of that wall that the fourth graders could touch, and then they had like one section that was fifth graders only, and it was like normal books. It was like old books, like it was Hardy Boys, stuff that I was already reading, just because like my aunt had books, and because I love to read and my family wanted me to love to read, they spoiled me with books. So, but like, you go to your library, you go there to like get new books without it being like an arm and a leg. And that was really important because I lived with my mom full time, and like she worked a lot and she did not need to be spending so much money on books for me to just devour them. And then that's kind of when I would reread the ones that I really loved, because they were short. But I was starting to get into the habit that I have now, which is that I don't reread books. I don't reread books unless they're like 5-star and above, like not and above, because I'll read a 5-star book and then I'm never reading it again because I've already experienced this and it's going to stay in my memories as this 5-star book, and I don't want anything to possibly mar that. If I know it's a 5-star book and I want to revisit the world and I want to revisit the literal writing that is in it, which is such a rare thing for me, then I'll reread. But as a kid, I reread all the time. I reread Bunnicula a lot, Captain Underpants, wait, I'm also sure that there's somewhere else in this list, because I just kind of pulled from memory, and because my memory is, like, scattered, and, because my thought process wasn't, like, timeline-wise, it was book-wise, there's, like, gaps. It's why you're seeing stuff that's like, oh, here's something that was influential from like a couple of years ago or like last year, and then this one's childhood books. So I have two for today. But Bunnicula was amazing. I loved the bunny. I loved Bunnicula. The little characters you follow, the dog and the cat, I liked them a lot too. But I was there for Bunnicula. I had like a child's version of Dracula. It was like an illustrated version of Dracula that was like pared down at that time. Where it was like you were still reading the classic novel, but it was like child version, where the language was like scaled down so that Kitty. Okay, sorry. It was moving too fast for me to move the camera anyway, but Kitty. But like I already loved Dracula because I had read that and I loved the story then, and then like Dracula but a bunny and he like sucks all the color out of vegetables. It's so cute. That's so cute. I still think that's cute, and I'm an adult. But yeah, I loved Bunnicula. It was so good. And I still think about it. And I still think about the cute rabbit. It's so cute.